Hello everyone, welcome to Meaty's messy office or messy man cave here. I've just started, if you guys follow me on Twitter or been watching the videos lately, you know that I'm in the midst of building a new computer and the parts started rolling in, so I figured I'd capture some of it on video here and maybe put together kind of a one single video with all this stuff in it. And what we're doing, for those of you that don't know, is I'm replacing this computer right here that you can see, this monitor. That computer there is over 4 years old. It's seen better days. It's been an awesome computer. That's actually a Sandy Bridge i7 in there, and it's been awesome. It's overclocked. It's been overclocked the whole time. But it's time to upgrade, but also in a specialized way. This is the way I want to look at this, because if you can see in the background here, this is my main gaming computer and also rendering. So right now I'm rendering. I've been rendering for this video and the last video for 4 hours, so I haven't been able to play. I just sit here and I wait while I render, and it's killing my time. So what I'm gonna do is continue to have this as my main gaming computer, but I want to build a computer that's more focused on rendering type applications than it is as far as for gaming. Even though it's going to be an incredible gaming rig still, it should be, hopefully when it's done, it'll be really fast to render videos. And what I'm going to try and do, and I'm going to show you with some of this equipment that I've got, is I'm going to try and play here, transfer it over to the other computer via some super high-speed SSD drives, and then I can be rendering and continue to play. Again, because you guys know, a lot of you guys know my time is limited. I have a regular job that I work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I have 3 YouTube channels that I'm trying to make videos for, and I love every single one of them. You Always Win, Meatwagon 22, and Can We Survive? And I love all 3 channels. Each have their own little specialty, and I love doing it. But the time crunch, it's just, lately it's feels like it's really catching up with me. So I didn't really want to have to spend money like this. I've been trying to save money, you know, for a rainy day or whatever. And this is a big purchase. It's actually way more expensive than any other computer I've ever built. So that being said, let's start getting into some of the parts here without getting too crazy. And if this video ends up being too long, I'm going to put all the information together, see how long it is, and it may chop it up into 2 parts. Hopefully no more than that. So to start with, I just got a box in from Amazon. I haven't even opened it yet. That's what kind of prompted me to make this video. Yesterday I got some other parts. What I did was I made a parts list of my items that I wanted. And then I go searching to the different places that I like to buy parts from. And I found the best prices. If they're within, you know, a few dollars of each other, just to save on shipping or whatever it is, I would get it from the same place. But I found that the processor I saved over $100 on. I mean, the $100 is as much as some processors. So I saved $100 on the processor. I saved money on the graphics card, money on the SSD, stuff like that. And some I couldn't find at the other place. So I got part of my stuff from Micro Center, where I can actually physically go there. There's one in Orange County here that I can physically go to, look at the stuff, pick the parts. The prices are usually pretty good. And then the stuff that was cheaper, I got on Amazon. So we'll start out with the case here. I've got this case. It's a 760T Corsair, and it has a door that, all my cases are like the Carbide series, and I've got one Obsidian series. I love Corsair. I'm really brand loyal when it comes to some of this stuff, and I think Corsair products are really good. Power supplies, RAM, their cases, the coolers. I really like Corsair. So I've had really good luck with these types of cases. There's a ton of room in them to hide all your wiring on the back side. They give you about that much room back there, which is a lot of room. I know it's probably hard to see. Maybe I could flash a little light in here. Is it? There we go. So right now nothing's in it. Oh, actually I lied. I put in a Blu-ray. I don't even use the Blu-ray drives anymore. Everything's either off the internet or off of like USB sticks. So that's it there. I'll show more close-ups of this as we go. But the top part here just comes off, right? Plastic with magnets. And then you've got this vented area, and that's where my radiator is going to be. So that's the case. That's my base of what we're doing here. Processor, Intel. Well, you probably couldn't see that, but it's a i7 5960X with it's on the 2011 platform, and this is an X99 chipset build. So should be right up there with the most current beastly stuff. It's not a cheap processor. This is up there. It's not as much as a Xenon server style processor, but this should give me the balance of still being a good gaming rig. Not as good necessarily as, it's not any better than like the other Haswell i7s, but this, with being 8 core, it should be a lot better for rendering purposes, which is what I'm trying to fix here. So here's the basics. We got an i7 5960X. To go with that, I've got a Samsung, which I like Samsung's. You can see that. Is it going to focus? Come on, focus. There we go. Samsung 850 Pro. 850 Pro with it's 512 gig. This will be where I put my operating system. I try to not put too much stuff on this. It's like a boot drive. Usually, you know, I used to go smaller, but I found there's some programs that want to go on here. They want to reside where your operating system is. And if you're not careful, you'll fill up one of those smaller 250 gig or even the 120s or something. So I just go with 512. It's not that much more money to double the gigs these days as far as SSDs go. And on there will be Microsoft Windows. So I buy these builders packs. They're 140 bucks. But you get like, I think you get like 3 copies you can put. I used one of these, and I was able to put on 2 of my machines because it's like a builder's package. So 140 bucks I think is pretty good. And as soon as Windows 10 comes out, I'm going to test it on one of these machines, and then I'm going to go with Windows 10, because from what I hear about Windows 10 is it's the best of Windows 7 and the best of 8 and 8.1. Well, the way I look at it is when Windows Vista came out, it didn't work or people didn't like it. Windows 7 came out, and Windows 7 was actually all the best things of Vista, but they actually worked. So when Windows 8 came out, there was a lot of issues for regular PC users, because I think personally it was a operating system that was designed for touchscreens, not for this. Then 8.1 came out, then the whole hubbub about bring back the start button. Windows 10 is supposed to kind of blend all the good things together from 7, 8, and 8.1. And it's also bringing in some new technologies as far as graphics go and stuff like that. So real curious to see. So all of its free upgrades with these for all my machines. I bought one of these. I got here. I got this one, and now I got this one. So these are Intel's 750 series. It's a PCIe SSD drive. This is a 1.2 terabyte. Same with that one. I bought that one and I put it in this gaming machine here. 1.2 terabyte PCIe Gen 3 and x4 add-in card. Instead of hooking up through a SATA cable, it hooks up right, just like your graphics card would. Okay, it plugs right into one of the PCIe slots, and it's literally 4 times faster than this SSD. 4 times faster on that unit right there. It's like, let's say, well, that one runs say 200, 240, 250, depending on what you're doing, read write type. These are over 1200. It's ridiculous. And so one of the reasons to have this is transferring of the files from this machine to this machine, hoping that the read and the write and my cabling and everything will work out where it'll transfer like 300-400 gig files, which is what they are when they're raw before they're rendered, be able to transfer them over in a reasonable amount of time to render on a different machine. So that's my idea there. But also playing from one of these and recording to one of these is awesome. There's no bottleneck. Before, I used to have bottlenecks on my recording software trying to write to physical spinning hard drives, and it would bottleneck it. It would make me have like screen stutters and stuff like that. These aren't cheap. These aren't cheap because they didn't come out too long ago. So not cheap, but I love it. I love them. All right. So at the same time when I got this SSD here, 1.2 terabyte for my gaming computer, I went out and got a Titan, right? I went out and got EVGA's GeForce GTX Titan X. 12 gig right there, right? 12 gig. Yeah. Went out and got this bad boy. Not saying I'm unhappy with it. The thing is ridiculous. It's awesome. 2 months later, they came out with this. GTX 980 Ti, which is, let's just say $1,000, $650. Basically does the same thing. Basically. Now, so here's what I'm going to do. It's not, hey, all's not lost. Believe me. I'm not unhappy. It just, I don't know. I wish there was like a projection, but you know, that's not how it is in marketing and sales. All right. Lesson learned. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my GTX Titan X out of the gaming computer and put it into this rendering computer, and I got the 980 Ti to put back into my gaming rig. You know, I'm running 100. That's it's a 120 hertz monitor. I play at 120 hertz whenever possible, and these all can do it with no problem. So that's what I'm going to do. 980 Ti goes into the gaming rig. The Titan comes out of the gaming rig and goes into the new build. It works out. It works out that way. So, all right. So that's processor, boot drive, SSDs. That now, the case. I haven't even opened this up, which is the Amazon box. So we'll see what we got in the Amazon box. It's holy cow. It's really heavy, and this is the reason why right here. All right, we got this guy. Corsair's AX1200i. This is my power supply. Now I've got Corsair AX, are they 860s? The 800 series. I've got it in both my other computers. These are really good. I like it. 1200 might be overkill, but yeah, I don't know. But it was like, I don't know. I just went with 1200. So got my power supply. So that's good. I can start putting that in. I've got. I only went with 32 gigs of RAM right now, even though I think these things can do 128. I wanted to do 64, but this is DDR4 RAM, and it's expensive right now. It's just because it's kind of newish, the DDR4. So, yeah, it was a lot of money. So I have 32 gigs of RAM in my gaming computer, and I know that rendering uses a lot depending on the type of rendering you're doing, but I'll keep an eye on it. And if I make a mistake, you know, I'll have to figure out what to do. But for right now, 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM. I thought 64 might just be overkill, but I can tell you that the price was overkill. I just couldn't do it. Dominator Platinum. I've had really good luck with this RAM. I've got it in both of these computers here. All right, so we got our RAM. And we got, man, we only have 3 things in this big old heavy box. And our motherboard. This is good. This means I can start the build. Power supply, motherboard, put all these components, and I can start putting this together. And then we'll do, you know, I'll come back maybe later on, another day, whenever. When I'm to that point, we can kind of go over that stuff. So I went with ASUS X99 chipset. This is the X99 Deluxe, which... there's a lot of options, you guys. There's a ton of options for motherboards, even on, you know, good ones on this X99 platform. I have used ASUS's deluxe version of boards before. That one and that one actually, my gaming computer, surprisingly, is a WS. It's a ASUS workstation board. And my other computer over here that I barely use because it didn't clock very well and I wasn't happy about it, but it's a Haswell unit. It has the deluxe on it as well. So I went with the deluxe. I didn't go with like the Rampage or any of the big ROG gaming ones. This one's got really good reviews, and I mean I know the deluxe series of cards anyway. I think these have little. Here it is. Well, you can't see it, but it's dark in here. Anyway, X99 Deluxe, that's going to be our motherboard that we use here. Good stuff. So as you can see, when I talked earlier about kind of like my brand loyalty, the brands that I like Intel. Look, and this is no crumb on any other brands, all right? It's no crumb on anything else. Through you know, historically, through my experience with different components, different brands, different builds, different successes and failures, this is where I'm at right now. Doesn't mean it's right, it's just what I do. You guys know, a lot of you guys know my feelings on that. If we have different opinions, that's fine. It's just the way I feel, the way you feel. It's not an argument. You know, as I haven't had a lot of experience with AMD and whatever their graphics cards are. I've had a couple of the graphics cards, and every one that I had issues with. It could have been me. I was new to computer building at the time, but I don't know. I've had some relationship, with NVIDIA over the years through YouTube and stuff, and I've just always had good luck with those products. So Corsair, Intel, ASUS. Obviously, I've had a history with ASUS, and I love all their products. I have a kick-butt ASUS router over here that is just ridiculous. This router, my cable modem goes into bridge mode, and this router takes over. It's got onboard memory and stuff. They just make some really cool products, and I like it. So those are kind of the brands I stick with. Corsair. Now you can save a lot of money, even still building an X99 build like this, by going with some different brands. And it doesn't mean that they're worse. Inexpensive doesn't mean cheap or bad. Okay, you can hunt around, but you got to do your research, right? There's brands out there that are less expensive, but I just never heard of them, or I don't know anything about them, and they may be great. You know, they may be like different. There's a bunch of different RAM companies. Kingston, Crucial. A lot of them are a lot less expensive, and they're good RAM, right? The G-Skill Ripjaws, they're supposed to be really fast, and they're a little bit less expensive than this as well. You know, when it comes to this, I guess I get a little snobby, a little brandish. You know, the fancy stuff. But hey, it is what it is, right? I try not to spend money ridiculously on other things, so I can spend it ridiculously on things like this that I love. So that's where we're at right now. And I'm gonna probably, the reason why I got all this stuff while I'm rendering and I can't do anything, I'm gonna play and put this together. And it's really hot in my office. It's kind of dark. I'm not gonna be able to film it that good. And besides, this stuff here, you know, you're not here to learn how to build a computer. I mean, there's plenty of other people that could teach you that better. This is just bolt-in stuff. This has screws. You put it in there. You put your CPU in there. You put your GPU in there. You put your cooler, which I don't have yet, in there. You know, it's all like Legos, like erector sets, like building a doghouse. It's just putting things together. It's once all those things are together is when, you know, it becomes a little bit more technical. Not really that big of a deal. Loading your softwares, updating your drivers, your BIOS, is all updating all this stuff. There's a few steps to do, and then overclocking. But a lot of this stuff these days, they have easy overclocker programs that really help you, and they kind of do it for you. It's not like it used to be. Used to be you could do the wrong thing and burn stuff out. Now there's all these safeties and protections and things that tell you, and you don't have to push it to its limit. But I definitely overclock all my stuff a little bit to squeeze that much more performance out of it, you know. So that's where we're at. I just want to show you guys, talk a little bit about the stuff that I got. Obviously I don't have everything yet, but I've got a good basis. I can actually start putting everything I got here can actually go in there, which is pretty cool. The motherboard, the case, and the power supply is like, that's where you start, you know. Get my drives put in. I can put my cooler in. You put that in after the fact anyway, after you get your CPU on your motherboard, on this bad boy right here. Boop, 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 boop. All right, guys. So I may be cutting back in another video into this, or this may be a standalone video. Either way, see you guys in a bit.